So Chinese is a tonal language, and for me, I never actually had a problem with tones. I know that a lot of American missionaries really struggle getting used to tonal language because, for example, in English, if we're asking a question, usually our voice goes up on the end of a question, like, where is that? So our voice goes up. But when you're speaking Chinese, you don't do that because every word has a tone associated with it. And there's four tones in Mandarin. So there's a high tone, and then there's a rising tone. There's a third tone, which is it goes down and then it goes up. And there's a fourth tone, which is like just down, just a down tone. And at least for me, I don't know if it's because I had a musical background, but tones wasn't ever really a huge issue for me. Chinese grammar is wonderful in the sense that it's it's actually pretty simple. I think that it's a lot simpler than English grammar or Spanish grammar even, because there's no conjugations in Chinese. You don't ever conjugate verbs like we do in English or in Spanish. In Chinese, what you do is you specify the time. Like, for example, let's say you're going to go to the store tomorrow. You say, I tomorrow go to store. Or like, I'm going to go buy things tomorrow. You'd say like, 我明天要去买东西. So that's like, I want to this thing, like I tomorrow want to go buy things. And so it's a little bit of a simpler grammar structure than English, which I really liked. It's funny because in Chinese there's certain words. This is something that I didn't really know prior to speaking Chinese, but like there's certain words that there really just is no translation for, where it's conveying a certain idea or it's conveying a certain thought. In English, we couldn't express that with a single word, but there's a single word for that in Chinese. Like, for example, in Chinese, the word 辛苦 is very common. And so when people say the word 辛苦, it's kind of like, wow, that's so like tough. Like, that's so, it's like they're like kind of looking at you in admiration about you. Let's say you're doing like a hard task and someone's like, oh, 辛苦你了. It's like, oh, you're so hardworking, but it's not just hardworking. It's like, I admire the fact that you're so hardworking because that looks like a tough task, but it's almost like it sucks to be you. Like, I'm glad you're doing that, but I wouldn't want to do that personally. So it conveys that idea in a single word. And so there's a couple different words in Chinese where it's just like, it's such a useful word that we don't have here in English. And so, yeah.